Welcome to week 2 of Epic Vault Games 2025. And this is starting to really heat up. In case you didn't hear, the first week of Vault Games opened up and gave us Dead Island 2 and Happy Game, which makes me happy in two different ways. Dead Island 2 because that is a banger of a game that I think a lot of you are gonna love. I've played a bit of it. It's smooth, beautiful, zombie killing fun, and that's a great giveaway. It's like a $50 game that's free now for a week. Happy Game makes me happy because it proves that this channel and you viewers are incredible. Because a week ago, we saw some very, very cryptic clues, and yet you guys were able to guess Happy Game. And look at that, how do you guys find that? You guys are good. You guys are really good. From this, amazing, and you got it right. And I listed it as one of my top 5 guesses, and there it is. So what's exciting now is that next week, there's gonna be 3 Vault Games. 3! If this keeps up, we could have like, what, 10 games in the Vault event when we usually have 4. So Epic is being quite epic these days. The question for this video is, what can we guess about these 3 games? Well, we had an emergency live stream. Here is the clue. So, did you catch it? You see it? You see it? I don't see it. There are so many possibilities here. Epic is really making us work for it this time because the clues that we saw last time would have been difficult to guess even if they weren't distorted, but they are. Now, what people are kind of seeing in general from what I get from the hive mind is a person standing here. Then some kind of skull, head, helmet, round object kind of thing. And over here, some kind of vehicle, maybe a plane or a car. There's some other guesses as well. So there were so many guesses in the live stream. One of them is probably correct, but I'm gonna give you my favorite guesses. First is the idea that 3 games, they're probably giving us a trilogy. Now, I don't think that's the case because last week 2 games, I thought they would be connected. They're not connected at all. Also, next week we have very good reason to think that at least one of the games is going to be Deliver at All Costs. Now, we're expecting Deliver at All Costs to be free, not because it necessarily connects to one of the clues, but because like a month ago, there was a leak, maybe a mistake by the developer themselves, saying that Deliver at All Costs would be free on release for 1 week from May 22nd. That matches perfectly to be the second Vault game from the Epic Game Store. We released a video about that a month ago. Now that it's gonna be alongside 2 other games, it actually seems even more possible. So very, very likely this is one of those 3 games from the Epic Game Store, maybe matching the 3rd one, but we're gonna come to that. Now, if, however, it is a trilogy, what could it be? Well, people were definitely suggesting Mafia because you can kind of maybe see a gun in one of those clues. Someone else was saying that they see a hat as well. We'll come back to that. I think we're dreaming, but someone saw like a shrouded figure in one of these, I believe in the middle one, therefore guessing that it could be the Ezio trilogy. Honestly, that's not going to happen because Ubisoft has been ghosting the Epic Game Store for years now, so I do not expect that. But hey, you see in these clues what you see, and I was very surprised that Happy Game was actually a Vault game, so who am I to judge? Hitman was also another strong guess. This seems more likely if it is a trilogy, because people saw like a man, then a skull and a gun. It depends where you pause the video, what you see, I've got to say. And Hitman 1 in this series has been free on the Epic Game Store years ago. The thing is now the trilogy is kind of sold as a package. I'm not sure that they could separate it into 3 different games. But like the Tomb Raider trilogy, when it was given away for free, even though you can buy it as a trilogy, it was given to us as 3 separate games. So Hitman is a possibility. Now, if it's not a trilogy, then we have to go kind of, oh, sorry. Also, Borderlands was mentioned as a trilogy because this mask kind of matches maybe like this, this one here, yeah. Could be. Probably not. Several of the Borderlands games have already been given away for free, and I don't expect a repeat. Now, if it is like 3 separate games, then we have to look at each clue individually. And the first one, I mean, I do kind of see a person here. Someone said they saw a kimono, which then led us to the Yakuza series, although there's not that many kimonos in Yakuza, but, you know, like a Japanese piece of article of clothing, Yakuza series, I can see how you got there. We've been thinking that there's a possibility Yakuza would come to the Epic Game Store for free at some point. Why not for this, for one of those games? Someone else said, I love this. It could be RoboCop because the clue looks like RoboCop. And not so much here, but there are some frames of that where it does indeed really look like RoboCop. Could be as one of the games, who knows? Someone else said they saw a suit, and therefore that led them to Hotline Miami. Now there's lots of games where there's a suit in the game cover, Hitman, for example. But this would be a solid game. It's a very, very popular game, and there is indeed a suit being worn very stylishly by an owl on the game cover. Well, let's move on to clue number 2. And this frame right here, for me, really clearly shows a star on kind of a rounded object. Now, before we come to that, there was also a really good guess, Undertale, because you have a skull with one eye. Could kind of see that in a slightly different frame. Or what about Zombie Army 4? You've got that rounded helmet with a bullet hole in it. Could kind of see that being a bullet hole there. And that would continue the zombie theme. I like the idea that Epic is going to give us like a zombie game each week. I don't think that's going to happen. Like they're just not that organized. But it would be cool, wouldn't it? They're clearly doing things a bit different this time. When it comes to a rounded object with a star on it, Men of War, you've got that classic cover of the army, the soldier helmet with the 5-pointed star on it. However, this is a really, really old game. What if we look at the newest one, Men of War 2, that was published just 2 years ago? And there also we actually see a Russian soldier with a little fur hat and the star there on his helmet. Not rounded, yeah, maybe less likely on this one, but a rounded object with a star on it. Captain America. I don't have a specific game in mind, but come on. It's there on his armor, it's on his shield. This looks like a kind of, if you remove the distortion, a rounded object with a 5-pointed star on it. That's got to be Captain America, right? So the question is, like, tell me in the comments, which game with Captain America do you think that would be, if that is the clue in the end? Another possibility, Wolfenstein. We have gotten a Wolfenstein game before from the Epic Game Store, and we do expect a game published by Bethesda to be in the vault. Recently, Bethesda is usually throwing one of their big games into the Epic Games events. So here we have, it's not exactly a star on his helmet, but we do have like a rounded helmet and kind of a pointed object on the helmet. Could be, because this, like with the distortion, it might not be a star. It might actually be that symbol that we see on the helmet there. Funny thing is, with the exact same symbol, we've gone through American soldier, Russian soldier, Nazi soldier, or a skull winking. It still could be a lot of things. Let me know your favorite. Moving to clue number 3. Look at that right there. In this freeze frame, like I see a plane. But there are other times people saw a butterfly net, which made them think of SpongeBob SquarePants. Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated comes to mind. And others saw a guitar. Now, not in this frame exactly, but if you go through it frame by frame, there are some points where you could definitely see a guitar. Last of Us, 1 or 2 would be kind of a pretty big deal to be given away on PC. Very unlikely, I've got to say, because these big Sony games have never been free on the Epic Games Store. There's a first time for everything, right? Speaking of a first time for everything that we've said will never happen, someone saw a cowboy hat in this clue. You could see the rim, like if you like squint, maybe that's a rim and the round, yeah. So of course you see a cowboy hat, Red Dead Redemption 2. Not gonna happen, but it's fun to dream, isn't it? Moving on to what I see, which is a fighter jet, kind of an old-fashioned fighter jet. Ace Combat 7, except this is a really, really old game, so I don't think it's gonna be that. Someone found actually my favorite find of the live stream that made me really happy, Isonzo. And this makes a lot of sense to me because that plane in the background there does kind of fit with what I see in clue number 3. Tell me if I'm wrong. But also Isonzo is part of a trilogy. The first 2 games have already been free on the Epic Games Store, and it's just a matter of time before Isonzo is. It is far and away my favorite of the series. It is still brutally historically accurate, but somehow much more enjoyable than the first 2 games, and in a just gorgeous Italian Alp setting. If this is some kind of vehicle, it might also be a car. Let me see if I can get to the point where it kind of looks more like a car. No, if you look through it, there's a point where I can kind of see wheels on the side a little bit, maybe something like that. And that brings us back to the possibility that it is deliver at all costs. I'm pretty sure that one of these clues is deliver at all costs. Which one do you think it is? What do you think the other games are going to be? Put your best guesses down in the comments, and don't forget to attend our live stream on Thursday, just as Epic Games is about to reveal. You'll see the countdown down on the Epic Games Store and know that our live stream is about to begin. Very exciting at this time of year. People bring in lots of ideas, lots of opinions about the games, lots of information. It's a lot of fun. Epic Games also announced a mega sale. I'm gonna have another video on the best sales in the mega sale in just a bit. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you're excited about for the Vault event. It looks like this is building up to be an epic one. See you next time. Bye.